Good afternoon to all. We are discussing the normal forms of the context-free grammar. So, the context-free grammar is given and it is asked to normalize the grammar. So, there are two basically normal forms are there. That is nothing but Chomsky normal form or CNF, and second one is nothing but the Grayback normal form, that is GNF. The CFG is given. So, first the given context-free grammar, we have to first simplify it. So in the simplification of grammar, what we have to do is we have to remove the epsilon production, we have to remove unit production and the useless symbol. Once the grammar becomes simplified, or one can say if the simplification process is completely done, then we can either go for the CNF, that is Chomsky normal form, or we can go for the GNF, that is Grayback normal form. Now, we have discussed about the CNF, what exactly is the meaning of CNF, which restrictions. So, normal form means what? So, in the normal form, we are applying certain restrictions on that particular grammar. So, in grammar simplification, the grammar is being simplified or extra variables or extra, one can say, non-terminals are being removed while we are simplifying the grammar. Right? In case of grammar simplification, using removal or elimination of epsilon production, elimination of unit production, elimination of useless symbol. So we are eliminating all these variables or the terminal, the non-terminals which are not required, which are not, they are not taking part in the derivation of that particular grammar. Now in the normal means we are making the grammar optimized. Now in the normalization, what we are doing, we are imposing certain restrictions on the productions of that particular grammar. Means on the right hand side, we are imposing certain restrictions for that particular productions, and we are making that grammar to the normalize. So the two scientists, that is nothing but Noam Chomsky and the S.A. Grayback, they propose these two different two different normal forms. They are the normal forms, and that's why they are called as the Chomsky normal form and Grayback normal form. So let us see the second normal form, that is nothing but the Grayback normal form, GNF. So the CNF, that is the Chomsky normal form, we have seen the restriction in that particular case. Suppose NT. So we have the non-terminal on this side. Say for example, S gives me capital A, capital B. So on the right hand side, there must be two non-terminals on the right hand side. In case of and S gives me A. So this is possible, or this is okay in case of your CNF, that is nothing but your Chomsky normal form. Now, in case of GNF, that is the Grayback normal form, the Grayback normal, let us see what is happening in the GNF. The Grayback normal form GNF was described by S.A. Grayback in 1965. In GNF, in a free CFG, that is in case of your context-free grammar, the RHS of the production, right hand side of the production, is required to start with the terminal symbol only, followed by any number of non-terminals. So this is the only difference between your CNF and GNF. So here, this is the case. Yes, your production rule must be A gives you A dot alpha, where alpha is nothing but string of non-terminals and small a is nothing but the terminal and A is nothing but your non-terminal. So your production must be look like this. A gives you small a, then you can have B, C, D in this particular format. Getting this point? So this is the difference between your CNF and GNF. So I can say that this grammar is in GNF. But if this grammar, so and definitely A gives A. So this rule is same. So non-terminal produces a terminal. Here also in case of CNF also non-terminal produces a terminal symbol. That is okay. This rule is same in both the normal forms, but only the difference is that in case of your CNF, that is Chomsky normal form, the non-terminal produces only two non-terminal on the right hand side, whereas in case of Grayback or GNF normal form, you have it must start with on the this particular side or the right hand side, it must start with the terminal symbol. It must always start with the terminal symbol, and after that you can have zero. You can have zero or more than zero non-terminal. Means I can have A, means here is a zero appearance of non-terminals, or I can have A means one non-terminal is there, or A gives A, capital B means there are two non-terminal. Means string of non-terminal is possible here. String of non-terminals means either zero or any number of, this is the thing, any number of non-terminals are possible on the right hand side. That must start with the terminal always. That must start with this terminal symbol always. Remember this point, right? So see here, so S gives AA and S gives a small a. They are in GNF. So I can say that capital S produces small a dot a. There is a, this string start with the terminal and there is only one non-terminal. So yes, it is in GNF, that is Greibach normal. Greibach normal form, and S produces a. It is also okay. Whereas, but S gives a. Now this string, this right hand side start with the non-NT, that is nothing but NT, non-terminal, and this terminal, it is not in a GNF. Whereas this S produces two non-terminal, it is also not in a GNF, it is also not in a Greibach normal form. Getting this point? So the difference is that, or what we have to observe, or the scientist Greibach, he has proposed the RHS restriction that on the right hand side there must be, so there must the right hand side, for example, it must start with the terminal and it followed by any number of non-terminal. The right hand side must start with the terminal, or it must, or it may, the NT can have any number, either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and A gives small b. This is also a valid form. So our discussion is that a grammar is given to us, a CFG context free grammar is given to us, and we need to convert this CFG into GNF format. So this, any rule, so all the rules in that context free grammar must be in this particular format, must be this particular format. Means on the right hand side, it must start with the single terminal and any number of non-terminals, right? So that we have to perform here. So let us see the rules of conversion. Rules of converting CFG, that is context free grammar, into Greibach normal form. Eliminate the null and unit production, that is same as the case of your CNF also. Now rename the non-terminals of a given grammar in sequential form such that, it means eliminate null and unit production means what we have to do here, we have to simplify the grammar. We have to simplify the grammar, or the grammar simplification must be there. After simplification, then we start converting that CFG into GNF, Greibach normal form. So see here, rename the non-terminals of the given grammar in the sequential format, and we now construct an equivalent grammar G1 from G dash, so that every production is in the following form. This one, every production in this particular format. A gives you A to the X, where an X is any number, means the terminal string, this is the terminal symbol, and you have the non-terminal symbol, right? So that is, in every production, grammar starts with either a terminal or A of I. So see here, it has the two lemmas, or we have to follow the two theorems here. Two theorems are given for the conversion of given CFG into GNF, right? So it is called as a lemma 1 and lemma 2. So lemma 1 says that if the productions in the given context free grammar are like this, A gives capital BA, this is not in a GNF, we have to bring this into GNF, that is Greibach normal form. And another rule is, so, and another B can have B1, B2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, dot to beta n. Means in your given CFG, if the rules are in the format, A gives me, say for example, BA, and capital B gives small b, if this is the format, then you have to convert, then we can convert rule A, this rule A, to GNF as the formula is given. Remember the formula, see it carefully on the screen, listen it carefully, how to convert the rule, because there are two lemmas. This is the lemma 1, and after that we are going to discuss lemma 2 for the conversion. So if the rules are of the format A gives capital B small a and B gives small b, then see here, A, capital A gives beta 1a, beta 2a, beta 3a, then dot up to beta n a, right? So what we have done here, so this is called as a beta, so this is called as a beta. So we have to write down beta 1, beta 2, whatever may be. Suppose B is here and C is here, for example. So I can have B, BA, so I can have BBA, then I can have CBA, like for A. Getting this point? So whatever may be this beta symbol, whatever may be the productions by the B, that we have to write in front of. So this value of b, this value of b is to be substituted by this all its production rules. Getting this point or not? So this value of, so if this is the format ba and b is having something here, so this value, entire value, to be placed here in place of b, right? For example, see, one example is here. So S gives capital AA, and so this is, it is not in GNF, it is not in GNF, and capital A gives AA, it is in GNF, BA, it is also in GNF, ASA, it is in GNF, and is B, it is also in GNF. So all four rules, they are in GNF. So we need to bring this particular rule into the GNF. So we have to follow this rule. So the rule says that A gives beta 1 A, beta 2 A. So meaning is that what is the value of beta here? So value of beta 1 is this. This is nothing but your beta 1. This is your beta 2. This is your beta 3. And this is your beta 4. So for S, I have to write like this. Beta 1 means A, then A. So here is this value, A value, is to be replaced by entire its production rules. So see here, then we can convert rule S into GNF as S gives AA. So this is AA, this is nothing but your beta 1. BA, this is nothing but my beta 2. Then ASA, this is nothing but beta 3. And B is nothing but beta 4. And A is as it is. So A, small a remains as it is. Small a remains as it is. This A, small a is the, this small a remains as it is. Getting this point? So if the rule, so see it once again, observe it carefully, learn it carefully, how to convert the given CFG context-free grammar into Grebec normal form. So if the productions are of the format like this, A gives BA and B gives, for example, beta 1, beta 2, for example, then it is in this, it is in GNF, but this rule is not in GNF. It is not in GNF. So to bring this rule in GNF, what we have to do here, we have to write down A and write down here beta 1 and this A. So B value of B, you are putting value of B here in and you are taking each of its production and putting its corresponding value. So beta 1 A and beta 2 A. So this is the normalized form, Grebec normalized form for the given grammar as per the lemma 1. This is our lemma 1. Getting this point? So for example, S gives AA and capital A, value of capital A is given in the GNF format. It is already given in the GNF. So all rules are, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, all are in a GNF. Now converting S, we have to convert this rule into GNF. So for that, what we are doing here, so we are assuming this as a beta 1, this is beta 2, this is beta 3, and this is beta 4. Now just take it here, beta 1 dot A, beta 2 dot A, beta 3 dot A, beta 4 dot A, right? So this is the A. So this A you have to take, means you are going to multiply with each of this particular rule and you are writing this rule for this S. This is in a GNF format. This is in the GNF format, right? Okay. Let us see another theorem or another lemma for the conversion of CFG into GNF. Rule for converting CFG into GNF, lemma 2. So lemma 2 tells that if the productions in the given CFG is, now if the production in this particular format, capital A gives capital A alpha 1, capital A alpha 2, capital A alpha D, dot 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 up to A alpha n, and beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 dot dot up to beta n, right? So then we can convert the rule A into GNF as, now it is somewhat tricky. You have to listen it carefully. See what is happening on the screen. A, so A, first write down A gives beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta n. So for take this term first, then write again rule A, beta 1. So this is called as the Z rule. This is called as Z rule in case of your GNF. Z rule means what? You are adding one new non-terminal, a new non-terminal Z is introduced here. New non-terminal Z is introduced here. So beta 1 dot Z. So for this term, you are multiplying to each and every term by Z. Beta 2 dot Z, beta 3 dot Z, dot 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 up to beta n dot Z. Right? Then you have to write Z equal to, or Z produces all these alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 up to alpha n. alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 up to alpha n for the z. And again, value of z, you have to write alpha 1 dot z, alpha 2 dot z, alpha 3 dot z, up to alpha n z. So this is the way. This is the way. This is the second method, or sorry, this is the second lemma, or this is the second theorem for the conversion of CFG into Grayback normal form. This point. So observe it carefully, listen it carefully. Yeah? How it is being converted. So capital A, if the in the given gram, if the productions are in this format, capital A alpha 1, capital A alpha 2, capital A alpha 3, dot dot dot, A alpha n, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, dot dot dot, beta n. So then we can convert rule A. So for a single rule, we have to write down these 4 production rules. For the single production rule A, we are decomposing. This is called as the decomposition. We are decomposing this rule with the help of Z rule. Into this particular, these 4 production rules. 4 production rules are being generated by decomposing the given single grammar rule. How it is? Just first take A here. And you have to write beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, dot 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 up to beta n. This will become your first rule. Then you take A. Then you just write dot z to each and every term which is written in the first rule. It is simple. Okay. Now these 2 production rules are over. Now you take z. Here, and to this z, what you are doing going to do here? To this z, you just take this alpha value, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, dot 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 up to alpha n, right, to this z. And after this is the third rule. And okay, and the fourth rule for z again means 2 rule for the z we have to write down compulsorily, because this is given as per the format, means this is given in the lemma 2. It is nothing but the this is the second number of theorem, or second number of lemma is given. So alpha 1 dot z, so just multiply this each and every term by z. Just write down z here, right? This is z is nothing but the new non-terminal which is been introduced, right? So this is the way with the help of these 2 lemmas we are going to convert. What we are doing? We are going to convert our given CFG into the Grayback normal form. Another normal form here, right? So let us see some examples on it. So from this example, this will become more clear to all of you. So see it carefully, listen it carefully. Grayback normal form. Rules for converting the CFG into GNF. For example, so say example for this second lemma, it is given here. Now see this one, A1, 0B and 2. Now here alpha is nothing but your 1, beta is nothing but your 0B, this is nothing but your beta value, and beta 1, this is nothing but beta 1, and this is nothing but your beta 2, and this is nothing but your alpha. This is nothing but your alpha 1 is nothing but your 1. Right? So we have to identify alpha value, alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. Okay, once we have identified this value, then it is very simple to convert these rule into the GNF. Now start converting rules for GNF like this A. So it is very simple. So rule 1 tells that this is rule number 1. Rule number 1 tells that A to beta 1, beta 2, beta 3 dot dot. So beta 1 is nothing but 0B and beta 2 is nothing but 2. Okay, this rule is completed here. Right? Second rule is nothing but we have to introduce a Z, and in this here we have to just write down dot Z to dot Z, right? So from the second rule we can have, second rule tells us that A gives beta 1 dot Z, beta 2 dot Z, beta 3 dot up to up to Bn dot Z. So to this rule we are just adding a new non-terminal, that is Z. So 2 rules are completed. Yes, okay. Now next rule is for Z. Next rule we have to write down is for Z, and that rule is nothing but, this is the rule number 3, and this Z is nothing but we have to simply write down the Z is equal to 1. That is nothing but your alpha 1. What is the value of alpha 1? So alpha 2 is not there, alpha 3 is not there in the given example. Alpha 1 is only 1, so it is written 1 only. And next Z rule is nothing but we have to just write a 1 dot Z. So this is very simple, 1 dot Z from this rule number 4, that is Z use alpha 1 dot Z alpha 2 dot z, alpha 3 dot z, dot 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 in this way. Right? Understood? So see it once again. Example, we are discussing the example for lemma 2. We are considering the example for, we are discussing the example for lemma 2. So lemma 2 says that if the production rule are of this particular type, capital A produces A1, 0B 2, then we have to identify alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. So alpha 1 is nothing but dot to this particular A, that is called as alpha 1, and these rest of the all terms, they are referred as a beta 1, beta 2 and beta sorry, beta 2, beta 3, dot 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 in this way. So start converting this rule into the GNF format. So see what was again. So rule 1, rule A says that, rule 1 says that A gives to beta 1, beta 2. So beta 1, 0B and 2, it is written okay. Now just next is very simple. Just we have to add a Z here. So 0B dot Z, 2 dot Z. Second rule is completed. Third rule tells that we have to write down the Z gives alpha 1. So Z gives alpha 1 and value of alpha 1 is 1. And the next fourth rule tells that we have to just multiply by Z, or we have to just give the dot product with Z. So 1 dot Z is the fourth rule. It is very simple. There is no difficulty in this. It is very simple. Just we have to remember the rules to convert these two lemma. If this in this particular format, if this in the lemma 1 form, if the production rules are in the lemma 1 format, then we have to follow lemma 1 production rule, and if it is in a format of lemma 2, we have to follow this Z rule here. Getting this point? Now let us see a few examples on this. The grammar is S gives AB, SB, S gives AA. So GNF form is, the GNF form is NT gives T dot NT. We have to bring all the production in this format. T is there must be there must be only one terminal, and that can follow with number of non-terminals, right? So grammar S is given. Yes, here is a one non, here is terminal, but it is not a non-terminal. Here is a two terminals are there, right? So let us see how to convert. Now consider this the rule S gives A, B, S, B. So define another non-terminal for defining B terminal. Then we will have capital B. So use one non-terminal, introduce new non-terminal, that is called as capital B. For B, so we'll have S gives capital B, S, capital B. So this is in GNF. This is in our Grebac normal form. So no question about it. So similarly for S gives AA. So define capital A for A. So we can have similarly S gives AA. So replace only this A, and first small a remains, it will remain as it is. So this is also in a GNF. This is also in a GNF, right? So hence the equivalent grammar in GNF we can write here. So this is the grammar. So S gives A, capital B, capital S, capital B. S gives A dot capital A. This is in a GNF format. It is very simple. Means what we did here, we just define B. For this B, we define one non-terminal. B produces, capital B produces small b, and for this A, capital A produces small a, and the problem is solved here. And this grammar, resultant grammar, is in a Grebac normal form. Second one, consider the another example. Now see here, epsilon production is there. S gives ABA, A gives AA epsilon, B gives BB epsilon, right? So step one is always simplification. Before normalization, simplification must be there. We have to simplify the grammar. We have to remove the epsilon production, the unit production, and the useless symbol. So how to remove the epsilon production? We have to find out the nullable non-terminals, that is A, B, and S. So this B must be capital B. It is always a non-terminal, right? So A tends to epsilon, capital B tends to epsilon, therefore S also tends to epsilon. So nullable non-terminals, so we can write the grammar rules we can got here by making the nullable non-terminals null. So AB by making A null, BA by making this here A null here. So S gives A means B we have null here, S gives A, that is nothing but BA null, and S gives B, that means 2A, we are making them null. Hence the grammar becomes see here, this is the grammar. S gives ABA, AB, BA, double A, capital B, and this grammar remains as it is A and A. From where this A came here, so we are making the nullable symbol null, that is A is becoming null here, and we are getting A gives small a. Same for this small b. For from this particular rule, we are making this capital B as a null, and we are getting B gives small b. That is nothing but the production rule. And the grammar after removing the epsilon symbol or epsilon production, we are getting this, but still there are two unit production. So now remove unit production by replacing S gives A and S gives B by replacing their corresponding production. So unit productions can be removed by this. So A, this is nothing but our capital A, it is replaced, and B, it is nothing but the capital B. So these two unit productions are being replaced here. These two unit productions are replaced, and our final grammar become this. Now replace. Now what we'll do here, replace A by AA or A in S as. What we are going to do here, replace A by AA. This particular term is to be replaced by this particular term will be there in place of your A. This A is to be replaced by this AA, right? So this A is also going to replace by this particular term. So this A is going to replace by this AA, right? And so we are getting this AABA, AAB, ABA, AB as it is. Okay. So AAB, AAA and AA and A. Okay. Also, which is in GNF. So two terms are still remaining here. That is, these terms are nothing but S gives BA. So this term, this BA and B, they are remaining. So we have solved for this. We solve for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have solved for this. So two remaining terms are BA, B. So for that we have to replace. For that we need to replace with this B, right? So by replacing this, we can get here BBA and BA, BB, B, right? So with this, wherever there is occurrence of B, so that B, so this B is replaced by BB, right? So right, getting this point. So capital B is replaced by small b, BA. So you will get here like this, B, BA, right? So this is the term BBA and BA as it is, right? And BB is nothing but this term, and small b is this. So all the rules. So what we are doing here, we are bringing all the rules in the GNF format by following the rules. So that particular term must be start with the terminal symbol followed by any number of non-terminals, that we have to always keep in mind. Getting this point? Hence the equivalent GNF, it is written here. S gives the symbol, S gives the production rule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Also S gives 1, 2, 3, 4. Capital A gives A and A. Capital B gives B and B. Right? Okay. So let us go to the another example. See here, S gives CA, A gives small a, and C gives AB, B. So GNF form is as NT gives T dot any number of non-terminals. So consider A gives A and C gives AB and B, which are already in GNF. So this is already in GNF, I can say this is already in GNF. So only the thing that we have to bring this particular production in the GNF form. So now S gives CA, it can be written as CA. It can be written as S gives ABA. So this ABA, C value of C is AB, and this value B. So this value, it is taken here, and A is as it is. A is as it is. This A remains as it is. Only the value of C, it is taken from the definition, right? So hence the equivalent GNF becomes S gives ABA, BA. It is in the format as well as A, AB and B. All these rules are in the Greibach normal form. It is very simple. There is no any difficulty. Now let us okay. So that's all about the conversion of the context-free grammar into the Greibach normal form. So we have to use the lemma 1 or either lemma 2 wherever it is required or wherever it is asked for the conversion, right? Now let us go to the next topic, and that is nothing but our Chomsky hierarchy. Chomsky hierarchy. So what is the Chomsky hierarchy that we are going to discuss here? The Chomsky hierarchy, or the phase structured grammar. Chomsky hierarchy, or it is also called as a phase structured grammar. It is a collection of 4 elements, means CFG. It is nothing but VTPS, or you can also call it as a NTPS, or we have already seen that is VTPS. That is, V is the vertices, means your non-terminal, terminal, production rule, and start. Right? S is nothing but your start. So N is nothing but the finite set of non-terminal, where T is the finite set of terminals, S is the starting non-terminal, and P is nothing but the collection of all production rules in the grammar. In this way, this is the way how we are defining our context-free grammar. CFG is being defined. So up till now we have seen we have completed the normal form, that is nothing but the Chomsky normal form and the Greibach normal form. How to convert the normal form, what exactly the restrictions imposed by these two normal form, and the CFG, that is context free grammar, we have to bring it into the one of the normal form, either it is a CNF or either it is a GNF, right? And for that we have to follow certain steps that already we have discussed. Now we are going to discuss about the Chomsky hierarchy. So in this hierarchy we are going to see Chomsky, the Noam Chomsky, who was the inventor of the CNF, had classified the phase structure grammar into following 4 categories by imposing certain restrictions on the production. So means the scientist has given 4 types of grammar. Grammar is categorized, or it is categorized into 4 different types. It is called as a type 0 grammar, type 1 grammar, type 2 grammar, and type 3 grammar. So type 0 grammar and type 3 grammar. So type 0 grammar, it is also called as unrestricted grammar. There is no restriction on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side of the production. Type 1 grammar, it is called as the context sensitive grammar. Type 2 grammar is the context free grammar, and type 3 grammar is nothing but the regular grammar. Right? Type 3 is nothing but the regular grammar. So we are so far up to now we are discussing about the context free grammar. We have discussed this in so many examples. Context free grammar, right? The derivation of CFG, how to write the CFL, that is context free language, and all these things we have discussed, and how to convert this grammar, how to simplify the CFG, and after simplification how to normalize the CFG, that already we have discussed, right? It is nothing but your type 2 grammar. It is nothing but your type 2 grammar. So type 3 grammar is nothing but our regular grammar. Now see what exactly is the differences between these. Let us see here. Be focused on your slide. So language class, language, grammar, machine, and example. Consider first type 3 grammar. So type 3 grammar, it is called as the regular grammar. It is called as the regular grammar, and the language is called as the regular language. It is the language given by the regular grammar is called as the regular language, and the grammar is the regular grammar, and the grammar is called as the regular grammar. And most important, see here all of you, most importantly, the machine which generates this language or which generates this grammar, it is called as the deterministic finite automata and non-deterministic finite automata. Means your FSM, finite state machines, are there which generates this regular grammar or the regular languages. It is called as the type 3 grammar, right? And the regular expression, that is a regular expression, they are in the format a star dot b star. If the format of the regular expression are like this, a star dot b star, we can say that yes, this particular is nothing but your regular grammar which produces your regular language. See here, the language is important, the grammar is important, the class is also important, the machine, from which automata we are getting this language and grammar, that is also important. And this is the one example, it is for your understanding, right? So a star, if the equations are in this particular format, a star dot b star, we can say that yes, it is a type 3 grammar. Type 3 grammar means it is a regular grammar, produces the regular language, and it is identified by the machines, that is NFA, non-deterministic finite automata and deterministic finite automata. Coming to type 2 grammar, type 2 grammar is nothing but your context free. The language is defined by this type 2 grammar is called as the context free language, and the grammar is called as the context free grammar. and the machine is nothing but your push down automata. Push down automata or the PDA generates your context free grammar. This is that automata that we have to discuss. This automata is defined or it produces your context free languages or context free grammar, and the format is a raised to n dot b raised to n. Observe this. A raised to n means there, say for example, a raised to 2 and b raised to 2 means two occurrences of a, and two occurrences means two occurrences of a and two occurrences of b. But here any number of a and any number of b are possible in case of a regular grammar, right? Now coming to the type 1 grammar, type 1 grammar is having decidable language. They can be, it is called as a decidable language, and the grammar is called as the context sensitive grammar. It is called as the context sensitive grammar, and the machine is the linear bounded automata, the automata called as the linear bounded automata, which produces the context sensitive machine, or sorry, context sensitive grammar, and the example is a dot n, b dot n dots, and dot c dot n. So you have 3 a, b, and c, three variables, and having we can say that their numbers are equal: a raised to n, b raised to n, and c raised to n. Next, final type of the language is nothing but the type 0 language or the type 0 grammar. Type 0 languages are the computable languages. Computable languages, and the grammar is called as the unrestricted grammar. The grammar is called as the unrestricted grammar, and the machine or the automata is nothing but the Turing machine. Turing machine identifies your computable languages, or Turing machine is designed for unrestricted grammar. In other words, we can say that Turing machines are the automata designed for your unrestricted grammar, and the example is n factorial. Example is n factorial means regular expression is denoted in the form of n factorial, right? So remember this chart. This is important one for the language classification. Type 3 means your regular language given by regular grammar, and it is identified by your automata DFA and NFA. Type 2 grammar is nothing but the context free grammar language given by context free language, and the context free grammar and identified by push down automata or PDA. The next type 1 grammar is nothing but the decidable languages, context sensitive grammar, and linear, it is given by linear bounded automata. Whereas the type 0 grammar, it is the language is computable language, and the grammar is unrestricted grammar, and it is given by Turing machines, right? So let us see here, observe it. Okay, so we can say the regular languages, type 3 grammar is the innermost part, then context free grammar is some. So we can see that we are moving from inside to outside of this particular circle. So if we draw a concentric diagram here, if we draw the concentric, we'll find that regular language or the regular grammar, they are the innermost part. They are the component of the innermost part. Yes, there are restrictions. There are so many restrictions on the writing of the grammar of that regular languages, right? Then there are somewhat free in case of your context free. In case of your context free grammar, we can have some restrictions are released here, or some restrictions are not there in case of context free grammar or context free languages. Some restrictions are now released in case of context sensitive grammar as well as in decidable languages. And finally, in this final in the outermost circle, we have the computable languages, and it is given by unrestricted grammars, means there are no restriction on your right hand side and the left hand side. You can have any combination of terminal and non-terminal on the RHS as well as on the LHS also, right? So remember this. Okay, let us see each type one by one in detail. So consider type 3 first. Type 3 grammar is nothing but your regular grammar. Okay, that if all the productions in the grammar are written in the form given below, then the grammar is called type 3 grammar. So alpha gives beta x, where alpha is the only non-terminal on the LHS and beta is any combination of terminals. So this restriction is there, only non-terminals. Yes, NT is only one non-terminal on the left hand side, and right hand side there is a combination of terminals. So if this is the restricted formats, these are the strict restriction imposed in the regular grammar, right? So there may be no non-terminal or only one non-terminal on the RHS, only one non-terminal. Here is only one NT, or even if it is not there, which may be the leftmost or the rightmost non-terminal, right? These are also called as the regular grammar. It is also called as the regular grammar. The language generated by these grammar are called regular language, which are recognized by your finite state machine, that is nothing but your NFA, non-deterministic finite automata, or DFA, that is deterministic finite automata. This implies that we can design finite state machine to recognize type 3 languages. Yes, regular language can also be expressed by simplex expression, and that all know that that is nothing but called as the regular expression, that is nothing but A star dot B star, right? So the restrictions, so highly restricted language or highly restricted grammar, we can say that only one non-terminal on the left hand side, and there are only one non-terminal on the RHS, and any combination of terminal on the right hand side. This is the case in case of our type 3 grammar. It is also called as the regular grammar. Languages given by the regular grammar, it is called as the regular language, right? And the machines who can which can recognize this language or the grammar, it is called as the finite state machine. So 3-4 important points you have to remember with reference to this type 3 grammar. The first is nothing but the how the restrictions are imposed, then the grammar is regular grammar, and the language is the regular language, and it is recognized by finite state machine, right? And also we can represent in the form of mathematical equation, that is called as regular expression for the type 3 grammar, that is nothing but regular grammar. Type 2 grammar is nothing but our context free grammar. We have discussed a lot on this context free grammar. So if all the productions in a grammar are written in the form given below, then the grammar is called type 2 grammar. X gives beta, where X is the only one non-terminal on the left hand side, that is NT, and on right hand side any combination of terminal and non-terminal. Now somewhat restrictions are released here. So we can say that a regular grammar, they are strict, the restrictions are very strict, but here in case of on the RHS, now restrictions are somewhat released. So here any combination of T and NT is possible, but on the left hand side only one non-terminal, this restriction is remains as it is. But on the right hand side, there one can say that the restrictions are now released somewhat up to somewhat extent. These are also called as the context free grammar, that already we have seen. So you can have S gives you A, B, C. Yes, it is a context free grammar. Or you can have S gives A. It is also a type of context free grammar, right? So any combination of terminal and non-terminals are possible on the right hand side. The language generated by this grammar called as the context free languages, that is nothing but your CFL, language generated by the context free grammar. These languages are recognized by push down automata, which implies that we can design a PDA to recognize type 2 grammar. That is, so this type of grammar is any combination of terminal and the non-terminal, it is nothing but your context free grammar or type 2 grammar, and the languages given is nothing but CFL, context free languages, and the automata is nothing but the push down automata used to recognize the context free grammar. Now let us go to the next type, that is nothing but the type 1. Again, some restrictions are now further released. It is called as the context sensitive grammar. If all the productions in a grammar are written in the form given below, then the grammar is called type 1 grammar. See here, alpha gives beta, where alpha is any combination of non-terminals. See here, alpha is now any combination of non-terminals, whereas beta any combination of terminals and non-terminals. Now restrictions are released on the left hand side. So in the previous two cases, type 2 and type 3 and type 2, the left hand side is strict, or left hand side is very strict. It only consists of only one non-terminal. But now in this case, any combination of non-terminals are now allowed on the LHS. Any combination of and in this beta also you have any combination of terminal and non-terminals, and still there is one point, length of beta, this length is equal to or more than the length of alpha. So the length of beta must be we can say greater than or equal to alpha. This is the restrictions imposed in the type 1 grammar, that is context sensitive grammar. The restrictions in the earlier grammar, that is type 2 or sorry type 3 and type previous type, that is nothing but that was removed here, 3 and 2. So we can have this type of grammar is also called as the context sensitive grammar, or CSG. The language generated by this grammar called as the context sensitive languages, CSL, which are recognized by Turing machine. These are recognized by Turing machine for the type 1 grammar here, right? Now coming to the type 0 grammar, it is called as the unrestricted grammar. As the name itself indicates, it is the unrestricted grammar. See the format of the grammar. If all the productions in a grammar are written in the form alpha gives beta, where alpha is any combination of non-terminals, beta any combination of terminal and non-terminal. So here the restrictions are released on both the side of the production rules. Here any combination of T and T, any combination of NT, any combination of NT and T's are allowed on both the sides, right? It is called as the name itself indicates it is the unrestricted grammar. Means there are no restrictions how to write the rules in the type 0 grammar. So this type of grammar is called unrestricted grammar. This grammar generates the recursively enumerable languages. Recursively enumerable language, or every type 0 language forms a recursively enumerable. Then we can construct a Turing machine. We can construct a Turing machine to recognize the sentences generated by this type of grammar. And see here, A gives AB. It is also a type 0 grammar. Then you have, see here, two non-terminals here, two non-terminals produces two non-terminals. It is also a valid type 0 grammar, whereas capital B gives small a, NT gives T. It is also a valid type 0 grammar, right? So in the summary of the grammar, we can summarize like this: regular grammar called as the type 3 grammar, and see the rules. NT on the left hand side, but on the right hand side there must be two terminals there. There should not be any non-terminal on the RHS side. In case of our CFG, that is called as your type 2 grammar. Now restrictions are now released, somewhat released. Here you can have T and NT combinations. Here you can have one terminal, and non-terminal you can have any number of non-terminals on the right hand side, but on the left hand side there is only one NT is there in case of your type 3 and type 2 grammar. Now coming to the type 01, now coming to type 1, so you can have restrictions are further released. So we can say that the further restrictions are released. So we have NT.NT on the left hand side, and on the RHS we can have T.NT.NT. So any combination of non-terminal on left hand side and combination of terminal and non-terminals on the right hand side are allowed in our type 1 grammar, are allowed in the type 1 grammar, right? And finally, in your unrestricted grammar, UG type 0 grammar, you can have NT.NT and here T.NT.NT. So any combination of non-terminal on the left hand side as well as any combination of terminal and non-terminal on the right hand sides are right hand side is possible in this particular case, right? But in type 1 case, what is the what is happening that so this beta value must be equal to alpha value, or it must be greater than 1 symbol as compared to the alpha symbol, right? So this is the way. Now coming to the next point, it is nothing but the application part, application of the context free grammar. Let us see various application of the context free grammar. CFGs are used primarily in compiler design, compiler construction, pattern recognition, and speech recognition. Following are the 5 phases of compiler design: lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, intermediate code generation, code optimizer, and code generator. These are the 5 phases of the compiler design. So in that all the phases, the CFGs use CFL, that is nothing but the context free languages are applied in the phase parser design, where CFG is used in the syntax analyzer phase. Syntax of source program is checked here. Then in lexical analyzer, in the second phase, in the first phase, phase regular expression are used to build the DFA corresponding to the token. Then in the CFG is also useful for describing the block structures in the programming languages. It is also used in describing document format used in XML for information exchange on the web. And in speech recognition system, this is used in hidden Markov models. CFGs are also used in pattern matching algorithms. So there are many uses of your context-free grammar as well as your context-free languages as well as your finite automata in your compiler design, compiler construction, your pattern recognition, speech recognition. What are the, we can say they are the machine learning applications are there. So you take these all application or your software programming applications or their system software applications. So here we have to use in case of your syntax analysis, in case of your syntax analyzer, or we can have the parsing of the expression. We are using all the concepts of your context-free grammar as well as your context-free languages. Getting this point? So that's why from the one can say the this particular topic is very much important. So questions that may be asked on the topic that convert the following context-free grammar into equivalent GNF, that is Grebac normal form. So grammar is given as gives AA0, A gives SS1, S gives AA small a gives SS small b, S gives AB, A gives BS, and B gives SA A. So course outcome. So what we have learned in this, session today that normal forms of the context-free grammar, that is nothing but our Grebac normal form, GNF. Then how to convert the context-free grammar into the Grebac normal form, that is GNF. Then Chomsky hierarchy, we have discussed about the Chomsky hierarchy and application of the CFG. In case of our Chomsky hierarchy, we have the type 0 grammar, we have the type 1 grammar, we have discussed about type 2 grammar and type 3 grammar, right? So that is nothing but your unrestricted grammar, then it is context-free grammar, context-sensitive grammar, and the regular grammar, and according to their languages and their automata and their format, how they are written, which are the rules, how the restrictions are applied, and how the restrictions are being released, starting from the type 3, then it somewhat released in type 2, then again it is further released in type 1 grammar, and in type 0 it is completely unrestricted grammar, no restriction on the right hand side as well as the left hand side of the production rules. And finally we discuss about the application of the context-free grammar, right? So outcome attainment, we can say that to apply well-defined rules for the syntax verification. So refer the standard reference book. So let us stop here for the today's session.